There we go. I guess I can let everybody see me too. Um, I want to thank everyone for coming out today. I hope everyone is doing well and enjoying this Thursday, hot July, depending on where you guys are, weather that's going on right now. Um, for those of you who don't know me, but I'm pretty sure I actually know a lot of you that are out there right now. My name is Robert Milicia. I am the Assistant Director of Operations with BrainMaster Technologies. And today I wanted to unveil a new product that is going to be for sale starting today. This is a new product that has been in the works for a couple months now. And why don't I share my screen so that everybody can see a little bit of what I am talking about. All right. So today we are unveiling to you the BrainMaster MMP 2.0. As it says right there, this is one platform, 6 modes, every feedback tool in one place. So, as everybody knows, for the longest time, BrainMaster Technologies, and when we sell our BMR MMP or BrainMaster Multimedia Player, it's actually composed of 3 separate applications. The 3 separate applications that we use with this are the BrainMaster Multimedia Player, which is a multimedia player program. It was designed to play audio files and video files that were native to a computer, and that's all it handled. Um, it also comprises of a separate application called BMR DVD, and it's our BrainMaster DVD player. It has been a very popular application. It's a little less popular nowadays due to the fact that obviously what is going on out there is that a lot of computers no longer really offer DVD players. Even Windows has kind of glanced over the fact of a DVD player and has kind of pulled its hat out of the game. But I know it's still a popular application that's out there, and I know a lot of people actually still use that. And then the final application that it comprises of, which is actually, I would say, probably a very, very popular application, is the BMR dimmer, which is a screen dimmer application, which would go on top of any screen that you had out there. And it allowed some functionality that was missing from the multimedia and DVD player, where it allowed people to use it as feedback for streaming applications. Obviously, earlier I said how the DVD player was becoming less and less popular, with being native on computers and things like that. And the reason that it actually started to become less popular was because everyone's streaming things nowadays, as opposed to going out and buying a DVD player. Oh, well, I'll just get it on Netflix, or I'll wait till Amazon Prime has it for free. Or, I think that's on Hulu. So our screen dimmer, as far as an application, has become more and more popular over time. And that is just because that's how technology, that's how kind of the world has just kind of changed things too. So the idea is that we had all these 3 applications, and those 3 applications also kind of had some of their own deficiencies, some of their own limitations, some of their own abilities that they could not quite do or perceive. Um, and so BrainMaster has always wanted to kind of improve on these applications and make them better. And BrainMaster has, through this time, obviously, thanks to, its want to do that, that's why the dimmer was created. And, other companies kind of got a good start, based off of some ideas and that, BrainMaster had out there. So as opposed to worrying about other companies to try to get other companies and all that, BrainMaster decided, you know what? Let's just create our own and let's try to bring it all into one focused application. But at the same time, it kind of doesn't stop there. Because as I mentioned, the screen dimmer application kind of had its limitations. So when we were thinking about this project, it was, well, how can we exceed those limitations that were in us in the first place? So that brings us to BrainMaster MMP 2.0. So let's talk about these 6 integrated modes so that we can understand what they are and how they're going to impact you. The first mode is our video file player. So once again, it's the standard BMR MMP file output, but it's a more focused for just the video itself. The other application we have is the audio file player. We've had a lot of customers who just like to listen to audio. And we felt that that was very important to expand our original capabilities of the MMP file to kind of have a couple more audio file outputs to handle, as well as some possible features to go along with it to kind of improve on the audio file player. The next program, obviously, is the DVD player. Now, what makes this DVD player stand out from our previous DVD player is that this is a native DVD engine. So one of the things with a lot of the DVD playing applications out there, which was very popular early in development, was to kind of use what's built in. Our original BMR DVD player was built in to use kind of Windows Media Player as a kind of a shell, if you will, and kind of use the internal DVD playing features to our benefit to add the feedback to it. Now, what we find is probably the issue of that DVD player is it makes it very hard to sometimes support for everyone because everyone has different programs installed on their computer, and those different programs can sometimes have a negative impact whether you realize it or think about it or not. So the native DVD means it's no longer sharing resources. It's playing natively off of our built-in player, and it doesn't matter if you have a different DVD player or you don't have this DVD player installed. It eliminates that. It makes it much easier to start up right off the bat and just makes it just kind of go. This is where we start dimming or combining some of the different features that were initially native or with the dimmer, and we started to improve on them. The fourth application that we have now is streaming modulation. What we did with this is we built in our own browser that has its own home screen kind of dedicated for the idea of using it for feedback. And it allows you to have everything self-contained in it so that as opposed to being worried about, you know, trying to pull the screen on perfectly or anything like that, you don't have to do that. It's all built in natively into the streaming modulation. A new feature, well, kind of a new feature, I call it a new feature because of how we're going to get to it, is full screen dimming. The idea and the intent behind this is that it can go on top of any of your actual monitors you have. For example, I have 4 monitors, and I can individually choose any one of those any one of those monitors, and I can use the dimming feature on top of it, meaning all 4 of my monitors can be fully dimming on it, or 1 or 2, which gives you the ability to feedback basically anything going on your screen at that point in time. The final, and this is probably my most, what I would say is exciting feature, is app-controlled modulation. So I have to thank Bill Merklis, who couldn't make it today. He kind of had some other things going on, but I have to thank Bill Merklis for this feature right here because he has always been a person who's wanted to be able to use this with the capabilities of more advancements. One of his thoughts was always, well, it would kind of be cool if we could use regular video games that you kind of buy off of Steam or whatever market you do, like Minecraft, and to be able to use those for the purpose of feedback control. And with the app control, what it does is it allows whatever application you want, whether it's taking up the full screen of the computer or not, to be able to apply basic modulation of video as well as audio into any app that you have running on your computer. And to me, this is actually one of the more fun or advanced features. But what's great about this program in general is that all of these features are brand new. All of them have been catered for how people use a lot of these basic, programs and all that. So it integrates a lot of native features of individual playing programs into the singular program. So let's start looking at some of these different pieces that we have on it. As I said, the first mode is our video file player. What it does is it allows you to play back any video from a browsable library with full feedback toolset layered directly over the feedback. So we'll look at this a little bit more live here in a little bit, but as you can see, it's its own player. We have a playlist over here that you can use on the right-hand side. You can either open singular files, and as you open them up, it's going to load them up into our playlist over here. You can also choose the folder button, which if you have 1,000 video files in there, it'll just load them up all on the right, and then it will play them how you want. The start is going to be off, meaning it's going to play your one file, and then it's going to stop. But this button right here also has the capabilities of choosing repeat one, meaning if it's a video you really, really like, it could repeat it over and over and keep playing it. Or you could do repeat all, where it's just going to go through every single file and play them one by one. So we added some new features on it that give it a little bit more of a functionality boom on it. Our next application is the audio file player. So as you can see, it's built on the same kind of premise. It lets you run, it has some generative fractal animations on there. So if you want to have some, like little files playing and it actually does have feedback on top of it, it allows you to kind of work from there. But as you can see, it has the exact same features as a video file. It's just more geared towards the audio style of it too. It has the capabilities of choosing repeat options. You have your capability of choosing the different fractals we have built in. We have about 5 or 6 at the moment. One new feature that I don't have in this iteration that's first coming out, but will be coming shortly hereafter, is the ability to just turn off the fractals in general. I realize that some people might not want fractals at all. So we're going to turn on the capabilities of just choosing no fractal animations if you really don't want to. But as you can see, we support in this version now basically all standard, what I would say is audio files that are out there, which gives us a much stronger flexibility on using the application. And Jacob and everyone, just so you know, I will go through questions here at the end after we kind of go through all the applications. But we'll make sure we answer those all at the end. As I said, mode 3 is the DVD player. This is now, as I said, a very native DVD engine. So what is great about this is it no longer depends on what Windows might have done. DVDs, and you learn this over time after working with DVD players and all that. DVDs have always been one of those things that people really don't like to support. Because what Windows kind of did is they said, hey, let's make this easier for you. We'll let you use us to support it. And kind of what happened over time is that Windows said, I no longer really want to support this. We don't like dealing with licensing. We don't like dealing with different formats. We just don't like it at all. So over time, Windows slowly kind of eliminated its support. So a lot of people who created DVD playing applications and things like that got really frustrated. And they got frustrated because they worked really hard to kind of work with what Windows gave them, and then they just took it away. So, as opposed to worrying about how everyone always did it before, we just kind of started fresh and made our own self-contained DVD playing application, which is great. It makes it a lot leaner. It makes it a lot easier to use and allows us in the future, as we kind of run into what I will call is hiccups in the field, which is, we had a finite amount of computers to test. There might be other computers that handle licensing differently, but it allows us to be able to get to those issues a lot quicker and easier and not just do what we sometimes have to do. And that goes, well, Windows kind of stopped us from doing that. And like I said, it's just an answer we don't really like to give. So, you know, building this nice native application right here. And as you can see, it's actually going to be the DVD that I'm going to be using for my demonstrations later. You can actually see this as playing the mind control episode from Mythbusters, where BrainMaster happened to be used to either prove or debunk the myth that the Mythbusters team had in that. Okay, streaming modulation. Again, this is actually right here is where BrainMaster Multimedia 2.0 began. It began with the question of how can we make Netflix, Hulu, YouTube function better? As I said, Dimmer kind of answered that question. But over time, it slowly became harder and harder, and it is still hard here and there to answer that question because programs like Netflix, programs like Hulu and YouTube don't know what a little old company like BrainMaster is trying to accomplish with its dimmer. So I know with some Netflix applications and Hulu applications, if you try to put the dimmer on top of it, it actually stops playing. It could stop functioning. And that is because what those applications thought is, oh, you just put something on top of me. You don't actually want to watch me, do you? And so applications trying to get what I would say is smarter and smarter, thinking that they know exactly what you want to do, by trying to get smarter and smarter, made it harder and harder for BrainMaster to give you guys the applications you wanted. The other issue that we ran into that has always been kind of one of those, oh, well, it's okay, just move it around, is to be able to be clicking through it. The dimming application is really cool because obviously you make a nice big screen and you put it on top and you go, look at that, I'm dimming. Well, what if you want to change something? We had people, oh, well, let's minimize, let's bring it up, let's minimize, let's bring it up. And obviously, that makes it a little clunky and clumsy to use. You're working with your clients, you want to show them how smooth you're being on things. So our first kind of behavior that we wanted to was to focus on that feature right there. And that is you are able to click through, you are able to operate, you are able to work with it without it impeding you. It doesn't stop you from moving through or anything like that. Now, from there, we actually made a homepage that allows you to have quick links and things like that. But as I said, we will go through a lot of those features as we go on. But this right here is, I would say, the ultimate reason that we really started working towards wanting to have something, you know, more native and more easier to use. Full screen dimming. As I said, this is kind of like a this is like dimmer on steroids, if you will. This is the exact idea and premise behind the original dimmer. Except now, as opposed to being a screen that you open and you put on this monitor over here, or you put on that monitor over here, or you move over up here and you move it around, like it starts to become, again, a little bit more kind of annoying to really set up. So the idea behind the full screen mode right here is it will outline you every single display. It will outline you what resolutions they are, so you know what style they are set up for, so you can kind of identify them. And if it has a model number or an identifier on it, it'll also give you that information so that you can figure out exactly which display you are working with. Um, Obviously, for people out there who know how to find which monitor is monitor 1 and monitor 2, that's exactly where this links up to. So your active display 1 would be your monitor 1 in Windows. Your active display 2 would be monitor 2, and so on and so forth. So this screen right here allows you to simply click these buttons right here, and it automatically starts the dimming on that monitor completely. And as I said, this is the entirely new module itself right here, which is app controlled modulation. What this application will do right here is it will allow you to use this box right here to go through and choose every single application you have running on your computer, and then activate it to be on that display right there. Now, what makes this very, very powerful is that it can be any and everything you have running on your computer. So, as I said, one of the things I'm going to be showing you guys later is I'm going to be playing a video game that I downloaded and installed from Steam. And I'm going to show how you are actually able to use a game. You're actually able to use, a full-on, basically full released game and play and have that, client play and get the same feedback as if they were watching a movie, and get the same feedback as if they were just listening to some music. It allows you to kind of have that feature of using literally anything at your disposal. And it kind of adds and gives you some functionality that is really, really kind of cool. So, just like everything, the way we designed the BrainMaster MMP2 is the basic premise, so this right here are all your controls, and they impact all 6 of those programs. So setting them at any point in time, for example, fade to black or your basic dimming, you can choose your fade speed, as well as how high the contrast is. If you want it 100%, you turn dim depth to 100%, or you can move it in between, so that once again, you kind of have some control for how depth it goes. It doesn't have to go all the way to the bottom. We added some, what I would say is additional modality feedbacks. Personally, I kind of like the fireworks, but the fireworks and the fire overlay are basically kind of additional feedback modalities that you can add to the standard dimming on and off, or, zooming in and out, or pausing and unpausing. The fire overlay is kind of like a driving mechanism, to best explain it. So if someone's doing bad for a very long time, You're going to see kind of like little fire things erupting at the bottom, and you're going to see it getting, like kind of it's going to hopefully say, well, you don't want everything to catch on fire, relax, focus. And then as they start getting feedback and things like that, it goes away and it works like normal. As I said, I kind of like the fireworks more than anything when it comes down to items, because that's kind of like a, hey, you're doing really great. It's an additional reward, if you will. So if someone's meeting feedback for extended amounts of time, if they're holding feedback for longer, you'll start seeing little fireworks going off on the screen. And it's going to let you know, hey, look at that. You're doing a really good job. Do you see how you're producing fireworks right now? The computer's telling you you're doing a great job. Keep it up. So both of those modes are kind of what I would say is add-ons to the feedback that are occurring. We also have our zoom out, or kind of like theater screen, which was a semi-popular style that was for the BMR multimedia player. We extended it so that it works for not only the multimedia player programs, but it also works for the DVD. It also works for the YouTube or the streaming styles. It does not work on obviously full screen, and it does not work on the application side, but it works on most modalities that are out there. We do obviously also still have audio dimming. Now, what's great about the audio dimming now, that was always been what I would say is a struggle on things, is, for example, the audio dimming in the multimedia player was on or off. You couldn't control kind of what I would call an audio floor, or having it not go all the way down to the bottom. Um, this allows you to now give that functionality to all different bits and pieces of applications. Obviously, full screen is the only one that doesn't also work on. And the reason that it doesn't work on that is because the full screen doesn't dim any audio. But it gives that full kind of control through all the different applications so that you can have a kind of a floor, so that I'll say it like this. I'm not obviously a clinician, but I talk to clinicians a lot. And one of the things that clinicians have told me based off of their expertise is that completely muting audio can sometimes be very rough on a client, and it can give a negative impact. So some don't even dim audio at all, which is why you can turn it on and off if you want to. But you also now have control to also have a minimum. So if you don't want it to dim all the way, you kind of want to make it just harder for them to hear, but they can still hear it. It gives you that full flexibility across everything, with the exception of full screen. And that is because full screen doesn't, just dims. Another feature that we have right there is pause on bad, play on good. This was a feature that I want to say, obviously, was not capable with the dimmer application, but now gives us that functionality to spread it across all the applications that we have. Again, one that hangs out there is the full screen mode, and that is because full screen mode only dims the screen. That's all it does. That's all it can do. There are tool tips that when you highlight on them, give you some of this information too, so that you can, understand it a little bit better. Also, I'm going through all these features really quick. We do have a quick start guide on it that also does describe some of this stuff out as well. So, we're giving you a lot of these tools, but, it should be fairly native, because what's great about our BrainMaster MMP 2.0 is it works exactly the same as the BMR MMP, BMR dimmer, and BMR dimmer and BMR DVD player. So what's great is, to start, is every single protocol you have set up right now that works with BMR MMP works here. So there's nothing you have to do additional. You don't have to change things. You don't have to make special protocols or styles. It just works, which is one of the things we always try to do. So how about, as opposed to just me talking about these features right now, how about I share my screen a little bit wider? And now what you should be able to see is that I have two monitors going on right now. I have my monitor over here that has my BrainMaster Brain Avatar application running right now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit go, and I'm going to start my simulation. And we get our usual feedback that we get. And obviously, if I raise the threshold, I get no more feedback. I can see I'm no longer getting my rewards. And if I move it down, we get our feedback sounds. Okay? So let's now bring in BrainMaster MMP2. Okay? So what I will do is I will start with our standard settings right now. I'm going to keep our fade to black. I'm going to do our mute audio, and I'm going to open streaming mode at startup. Okay? What that does is that opens up my multimedia player 2 right on the streaming. Now, what you're going to notice is the screen did exactly what we said it was going to do. It dimmed, and that is because I'm not meeting my threshold right here. I know I'm not meeting my criteria right here because I can see that I have one criteria. It's a reward, and it's set to bad. So I already know right off the bat it's not going to meet it. But if I move this threshold down, now it's going to start modulating in and out. And you're going to notice right down here, I see my bad, good, when I know it's actually getting within criterion. So at this point in time, everything is just going and functioning. Every single one of my tabs is working. I didn't have to do anything other than make sure I was on the right settings and going. Now, one of the things I built in that I liked, or that was built in that I like to call is a nice little feature support, is this feedback on off button right here. Now, the reason I built that, or the reason that that was built in right there, was because if someone is trying to set up a video for someone and they have it set to 100% dimming, kind of makes it difficult for you to set up and pick a file. So if I turn off feedback, you can see that regardless of their input output, it's just going to let it play, and it's going to let me do what I need to do without being impeded by the feedback going on. So since we started on streaming, I will go through this streaming tab right here. This is a fully functional URL or browser. So you can either go up here and type in where you want to go, or you can work with our homepage, where this was kind of constructed to give you quick links to be able to get to applications, websites, things like that, that may be very good for you, that may be programs you use already, and get to them very easily without having to type in and remember or anything like that. Now, with our homepage also, we built in the capability for you to add more. So we have a couple different what I would call menus here. We have video streaming sites, Netflix, Hulu. Usually we will mention whether or not a membership is required, because that is kind of up to you. If you want to use Netflix for your feedback, you kind of have to have a Netflix, membership. YouTube obviously is free. So, YouTube is there and available. There is audio streaming quick links we put in. Spotify, Pandora, those are kind of the two popular. Once again, if there's one out there that you use that you really like, you can easily add it right here. There are video game streaming sites that we also kind of had here. So for example, King.com, I know that there are some people out there that use it. Luna by Amazon is another one that is out there. That one right there requires a membership, but if there's a site that has video games that you think would be useful for feedback, you can click it right here and add it to there. Another area we have right here is ebook. The idea behind this is, once again, you might, now that you have kind of more tools, in your kind of toolbox, is you might go, well, hey, you know what? I really want somebody to just read. I want them to just sit back and read a book. So having the feedback on this will allow you to let it dim in and out and allow you to use something like reading, or maybe you want to do mathematics, or maybe you want to do some type of page like that that has them maybe not just watching something, but maybe be a little bit more interactive, maybe, having their brain work in a different way. And that allows you to add and use them just as you normally would. So for example, if I go to YouTube and click YouTube right here, it'll load up YouTube like normal. So if I type in, and you guys can probably tease me a little bit, which I'm okay with. My son is in show choir, and it kind of becomes a little bit a part of my life for 3 months out of the year. So, this is one of the things that, goes on right here. This is a show choir competition. For those of you who don't know it, it's a grueling day, if you will. And this right here, I'm going to just hit play on.
Balcony,
I'm going to turn feedback on. And this is exactly what is going on right here. As you can see, audio is going in and out, modulating like we would, and it's fading out as we go. So, this is why sometimes I say audio isn't the best in the world, because it's a little chunky. Another feature I built in, or that was built in, is
in every category.
Changing the settings really
Music
quick.
in Motion consists of 64 singers, dancers, 21 instrumentalists, 26 crew members, and is under the direction of Gary
what
Lewis.
I did is by clicking the settings button up here, I was able to turn off audio modulation just like that.
The ruffle of
and then
feather.
I realized, because I know it was for me, that it might be a little too loud for everyone. So I turned down the music also. But I was able to do that while it was dimming in and out. So it allowed me to be able to change those settings and get things rolling. So once again, this is for any of you guys who don't know it. Like I said, I'm a nerd, it's okay. Who don't know show choir, this is a show choir competition where high school kids come in and they perform a 30-minute routine. And I guess I could say it's pretty exciting. Like I said, maybe it's just because I love seeing my child performing and acting and doing his things. But, it's just an option that's out there. And it's something easy for me to show kind of how this works and how this goes on. Now, if I decided at this point in time, I'm bored of watching this, I want something else, well, I have all my features up here I can choose to. And I can do it on the fly. Let's say I wanted to now just do audio. Well, if I click my folder button, and once again, this is where this settings button or the feedback on and off kind of comes in, because it's kind of impacting everything. I can turn my feedback off. I can choose folders. And what I can do is I can go to this PC. Yes, you can make the full screen. If I go to NF Player and hit select folder, I am now loading all my music that I have capabilities for. I'm going to turn it down again because it's kind of loud. I'm also talking and going through things. Now, as I said, you can either choose to repeat one or repeat all. If you choose to repeat all, it will go through all of your songs and play them one by one by one. If you choose repeat one, it'll take that one file and it will repeat it over and over and over, just like you might be used to in any kind of different playing program you have. As I said, there are some built-in fractals that are in here, and if you click on them, it lets you switch between the different files that exist. And use them. If I get bored with this and I want to use something else, if I go to my video files, I have all the same features and functionalities that are there too. So if I select Edit Viewer, I can now choose all the different built-in BrainMaster Multimedia Player files that are there, having repeat one, repeat all on there. And if I turn back my feedback, it operates just like normal. Now, another cool feature is I left off on the audio page. it picks up exactly when I go to the audio file, exactly where I left off. So once again, it picks up exactly where I left off as I choose between the different screens that I'm on. So the idea is that if somebody really wants to get back to where they were, they can really get back to where they were, and they don't have to worry about what was I doing, where was I, what file was I picking with. The progression is natural. And if I go back to my streaming, it picks up exactly where we left off. So we're at a position, and all we have to do is simply begin exactly where we were. So yeah, now they're getting into it. But let's say I wanted to use DVD. Now, the DVD player, one of the features that I actually did not mention, and it's just because I sometimes don't think about it, is it will naturally know if you have a DVD player connected. So for example, it knows that I have a disk drive or disk and disk drive E. So it loads it up there automatically, but it also natively supports ISOs. So for some people who are out there, if you decided to take your DVDs and convert them into an ISO format and load them on your computer so that you can play ISOs in a virtual DVD drive, we do that now. We do that natively, and you can choose your own ISO file and play it, and it just plays as if it were a regular DVD into disk. But for now, I am going to go to Open Disk E, and I'm going to open, as I said, the Mythbusters, where our BrainMaster 2E was used to try to prove whether or not mind control was there. So it goes through all its menus like normal. I'm going to speed this up by going to my title menu. And I'll go to Scene Selection. And I'll just start on mind control.
Yeah, we're actually going to test the classic conspirator's favorite of control.
So once again, it kind of goes in and out.
Hypnosis.
If you have audio or subtitles, you can turn them on. Not all discs have them, but it will fade in and out, just like normal things are out there. And once again, let's just say you're trying to set something up. You can also turn feedback off, and you can move this ahead.
Topped with a crystal.
To do a blueprint, I'm going to see if I can use the helmet to influence Jamie to remove his beret.
Jamie and Adam are
skips all function as normal.
Tackling the explosive TV myth.
This is the one where Mr. Bean was painting his house with paint, and they were trying to prove that in the same episode. And then whenever I'm ready, I can turn it back on. And once again, if I ever wanted to go back to streaming, streaming is set up where it is. If I go back to my audio files, they're back where it is. And my video file is still playing exactly where it is. Full screen mode. So as I said, this is kind of a fun feature. It allows me to identify all my monitors that are here. For example, monitor 1, my MSI monitor, is this one right here. And if I click on it, now you see monitor 1 fading. If I activate monitor 2, let's see which monitor that is exactly. Now I'm also dimming my training module program. I actually guessed it right. I'm actually very proud of myself. I never remember which monitor is what. But now I'm actually controlling 2 different displays. So I'm actually dimming the full display where my training is actually happening on. And I'm also dimming my other display. And once again, can I click through them? Sure, I can. I can absolutely click through them, and they work perfectly fine. If I go back to my streaming, guess what? My streaming's set up and ready to go. My audio is ready to go. My video is still going. And my DVD is still going. All right. The final application, which I am going to show you today, is application control. And to show you application control, I'm going to minimize this to show this game right here that I downloaded and installed from Steam. This game is what you call a cozy game. It is Librarian, tidy up the arcane library. The purpose of this game is to simply clean up a library. So for people who maybe you want to try and relax and try to just focus, it's a great idea or premise behind that. But as you can see, it will operate, and it's hard for me to show right now because I can't, but I have a controller in my hand, and we got the game going, and we can see my controls for the multimedia player on this side. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through my list, and I'm going to find my librarian game, and I'm going to hit activate. So now I see it actually functioning on the game, and what I'm going to do is I'm now going to click on the game so that we can see that the mouse disappeared, and what this means is I'm now using a controller to control this. So let's go over here actually real quick. I'm going to make this a little bit easier. There we go. So now I am a librarian, and the goal that I am doing right now is to organize all of these books that are in this library onto these shelves. If you want to learn a little bit about it, like for example, there's these right here, where I can read a little bit about what's going on. And if I hit B to go back, I can also look at these maps over here to figure out exactly where I'm supposed to put things. And there's another map. So if I want to do it, what I will say is the right way, I can follow this map right here. And I can go, okay, well, let's see. Maybe I don't even want to follow it. I'm going to hit X so I can pick up some books. And hold on one moment. I'm going to hit Alt-Tab real quick because I do have to mute someone.
Grace.
Oh, that's fine.
There they are. There we go. Sorry about that, guys. So I pick up my books. And I can go to my bookshelves. And I can put them away. And I can just use this as feedback. Now, what's great about a game like this is if somebody wants to play it how they want to play it, they can. There, I'm making more of a mess. Maybe I'm just putting all the books in one place or something like that. And I'm just putting them in some area. But this allows me to use any game that you get in any style. And you can put feedback on top of it. So it's not limited to just the games that maybe somebody created or something like that. It allows you to use programs like Steam or other items to be able to work and play.
Rob, turn off the threshold sounds for now.
Alright, hold on one moment. There we go. And once again, it's just another option that you have, and this option kind of gives you a lot of options, which is kind of cool. And then what's great about a game like this is if I hit escape and I quit, it saves my progress, as you can see, auto saving right there. And whenever you start that game up again, it allows your customer, if that's the game that they play, if they're the person using it and all that, it allows them to now have that always saving, always going back to it. And so a complex, long game, you can have multiple kind of days, hours of feedback just playing a simple game. And like I said, Steam has a lot of what I will call cozy games. There are games like Power Wash Simulator, where you're just washing a car, you're washing a house, and you think, oh my goodness, like that's kind of boring, but you'll find that actually a lot of people actually like that. It's very useful for them. It's calming. So it gives them to focus on a task that's small and simple as opposed to a large task that comes out of that. And that is exactly what we're introducing right there. Oh boy. All right. So it looks like actually right now I might have probably tasked all of my much. So what I can do at this point in time, Tom, if you can do me a favor, if you can you hear me?
Yes, I can, Rob.
Good, great. If you can go through the chat real quick, I think I saw a couple questions right there. If you
Couple
could just
questions, yeah.
If you could go through those couple of questions and just read them off to me, I'll be happy to answer them. It's just I know if I kind of push anything right now, I'm going to cause myself to crash. And I can answer these questions without going through them. And I can, kind of give the information.
Okay.
Is my screen still showing right now?
Yeah, but it's blank. It just says Rob Milicia has started screen sharing. Double click to
Okay.
enter full screen mode.
All right, that's not a problem. I'll be able to read off the last little bit of information. Why don't we go through those questions and then I'll go through the last little bit after this.
Right. So the question is this being offered as an update or is it a separate purchase? It's both. If you have the multimedia, it's an upgrade. And if you do not have any multimedia, it's a different price. So
correct.
I want to run through these. Someone says the dimmer is useless with shows like Stranger Things.
And it's kind of a little dark, so I understand how that's a little difficult right there. Stranger Things is a very dark program, so kind of dimming dark is a little rough.
And Kit says he's had some girls who prefer to read during the session, which is fine. Can you make a YouTube video full screen?
And you can.
Yes,
you can absolutely make it full screen.
Will it work with Blu-ray? Does the DVD player?
So at this moment, it does not. In order for us to get it to work with Blu-ray, there is a lot of licensing that has to get worked through. So we have not done that at this moment. Yeah.
Got it. Does it need any higher computer specs? I can imagine no, because you've already got a Brain Avatar capable computer, so
exactly
you'll be fine. Can the feedback actually control the game? Is there a way to get in and change any aspect of the game itself? Like
no.
Okay, we are working
just
on that.
Yeah,
that's called cobbling, and it's what you might want is what's called autoplay, and that's where the game just plays itself better as you do better. The problem with doing it while you're actually playing a game is that tends to be a little more confusing to people because you're telling them to relax and sit still and be quiet, and they're playing a game. But yeah, autoplay is something we're working on. Will it work with ISF? Yes, I'm sure it will.
Yeah.
There's no reason it won't. Will
As
the
I said,
recording and transcript be emailed? Maybe it will.
It's actually, this video is going to go on YouTube for free for everyone to view on BrainMaster's page. I would say probably in about a week or so.
Excellent. And it says for new buyers, they'll just buy this. Isn't that correct?
Yes.
New buyers will just go straight to MMP 2.0. But I want to make a few comments. If I may congratulate Rob, because these are many things we've been asked for since the very beginning. Interactivity with a variety of feedback things. And research has shown that if your trainee is allowed to choose, even something as simple as choosing which game or which video, that the results are improved when the user believes that they have some sense of control or decision making. Then that automatically seems to improve. Now, there's a question about App Machine. App Machine stays. App Machine is a wonderful alternative. You can customize, you can write your own games, and it has its own strengths. So that's going to stay. And so this does provide very important, it makes it more fun. I think your trainees can take part in this now, and you can be a little more fluid and a little more exciting to say, do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? Every time they have the ability to make a choice, that helps. That helps their outcome because they feel that they're engaged. So this has been a wonderful improvement. It integrates. And do you need the video game control? Yeah, if you're playing a video game that needs the control, yeah, the keyboard or something, you can. Yeah. You can.
Many video games can use a keyboard or mouse.
Yeah, but I discourage it. There's a comment here. It caused artifacts and affect training. Absolutely, in the motor cortex. Yes, yeah. These are serious concerns. I'm not a big fan of feedback games where the person is actually playing a game. This is a problem that happened with some early research. There was a company that did that, and it was very ill-conceived because the kid's trying to control a game, but you're trying to make SMR, and they're at cross purposes, and you get what's called learned helplessness. So you need it to be simple, you need it to be easy, and you need to, the goal is generally with SMR training, which is the most ubiquitous one, and with Z-score training as well, sit still, relax, allow yourself to feel what it feels like, get engaged, enjoy it, and make it fun. And this does make it more fun. And fun is not frivolous. Fun is part of learning. And so we're open for a couple more comments or questions. And thank you, Rob, for this brilliant development and the presentation.
So I do want to go through, actually, if people put questions and things like that, you can, while I go through what I would say is a couple house cleaning things, just so we can kind of get through.
They want to know the cost.
Yep, that's what I was going to get. Yep. So
everybody's waiting to hear. If you already have MMP, the cost will be
$125 for affiliate members. Brilliant. So you get upgraded to a much easier, simpler package for just $125. One time. If you are buying the application completely new, the cost is $395. No. Now, I will state one thing for everyone out there, just to put it out there. These are affiliate membership pricings. So if you are not an affiliate member, not only do you not get things like technical support or other things like that, you also don't get this specialty pricing right here.
And it is per device, yes.
Correct. It is per unit. It's how we kind of have always done items. It is, a passkey. You will get a brand new passkey for this application. Now, the store site is going live the moment I end here. We are able to sell this after this meeting. I will go through some items right now. There is a brand new installer that we just created that will not only install this application right here, but it also is now what's called a linked installer, where what it will do is it will also allow you to install your multimedia player application programs that we used to do as external programs, lets you pick and choose what you want to install additionally, and it just installs it at one time. So it's a brand new streamlined installer that we built for this. Technical support can help you install it. This is only if you're using what I call the pre-release 4.9.2 version of software. If you're using the 4.7.5 version of software, the technical support team does know this, and they are able to get this installed for you if you purchase this and still just kind of want to use the released, even though the pre-release has gone through about half of its testing, this iteration. And an earlier version went through all of its regression testing. So the new versions of software do exactly what they did previously. They just have new features and new functions in them.
Yeah, we have a quick question about amplitude. One way that it's desired is that it gets bright suddenly when they meet a condition, and then it fades more slowly.
Yeah.
So we can do that, I'm sure, by the adjustments in the Event Wizard.
Absolutely. Well, you can do it by the adjustments in the Event Wizard, and you can also do that with the basic settings.
the settings itself. So yes, we now have that sudden brightness and then slow fade. Very
Yeah.
nice.
Um, now, so another thing I want to bring up is that this is kind of the first webinar of BrainMaster getting back to doing webinars again. We kind of took a little of a hiatus on it. So kind of as a, hey, welcome back to doing webinars, we are actually going to be, and that email is going to go out tonight, be doing 2 webinars, nearly one after another. They are going to be done by Penny Jean Gracefire. The first one is going to be next Thursday, July 16th. It is going to be from noon to 2. And what Penny Jean is going to be doing is she is going to be introducing her brand new protocols that she has been working on for Z-Score. She's excited to show them to people. She's excited to provide them to people who attend, who are, actually own equipment, things like that. So that email will be going out later tonight. And, we obviously want everyone who joined here, as well as any new people, to be able to join, attend, and have a good time. There is going to be a follow-up one to that. That is going to be, I want to say, the Tuesday after. It's the Monday or the Tuesday. I don't remember exactly which date it is right now. But it is going to be a complement to that one of using, I believe, those protocols with the rover. So she is going to be going from noon to 2 on how you can combine the neurofeedback training and the rover together on how she does it. And it's going to be a very exciting kind of presentation to see, especially getting ready for ISNR, where a whole lot of new features are going to be coming out. And I am just going to be leaving it at that. The Multimedia Player 2.0 was, I want to say, BrainMaster's first introduction to what's new out there for everyone out there. For those of you who know Tom and has seen him on the groups and his Facebook or the BrainMaster EEG group on Facebook, he has been teasing a lot of that new stuff. And if you really want to get a good grip on it, you really want to come out and join us for ISNR and learn what all the commotion is all about. But, this was something that we felt was going to be good to let you guys know that, hey, BrainMaster looks at a lot of these things and we agree with you sometimes that there are things that we can make better. And this was just one thing we wanted to show you that, yeah, we're going to make things better. And this is just kind of what I will call the tip of the iceberg, because there's exciting things on the horizon. Does anybody have any? Thank you, guys. And if we don't have any more questions, I think we should wrap up for the day. Thank you very much for coming out. I hope everyone's kind of excited about this as much as I'm excited about it, because I'm really excited about it. All right, guys, everyone, take care now and have a great one.
Thanks, everyone.
All right. Bye now.